Hello, my fellow animal lovers. How are you today? Before I ferry you to dreamland, if you love the content and you love animals, I encourage you to show your support by subscribing. By the way, tell us where you are in the world in the comments section. What time do you like watching our channel? I look forward to reading all your comments. Enjoy. Chapter 1: The Drifting Spark. Breathe in, a slow, gentle inhalation, filling your lungs with the quiet air around you, and out, a soft, measured exhalation, releasing any tension, any lingering thoughts from the day. Let the world outside soften, its sharp edges blurring, its urgent demands receding into an indistinct background hum. Let the vibrant, sometimes overwhelming, colors of the day dissolve into a soothing, uniform darkness. There is only the deep, comforting darkness behind your eyes, a private, infinite expanse where thoughts can gently float and fade. And the gentle, rhythmic sound of water, a subtle lapping, a distant whisper that carries a profound sense of peace. We are going to a place of immense, ancient quiet, a place of deep, encompassing, cerulean blue darkness, where sunlight filters down in hushed shafts, painting liquid landscapes. Here, in the warm embrace of the tropical sea, time does not move in the hurried ticks of hours or the frantic rush of days. It moves with the grand, majestic sweep of tides, in the slow, deliberate turning of the moon, a cosmic dance that sets the rhythm of this underwater realm. The ocean itself breathes in a slow, steady rhythm, vast and ancient, a long, silent inhale, drawing the world's energy into its depths, and a long, silent exhale, releasing its boundless calm back into the atmosphere. Feel your own breath begin to subtly, instinctively join this profound, natural rhythm. Inhale and exhale, deeper now, slower, more peacefully. Tonight, the surface of the water is extraordinarily still, as if the great liquid mirror of the sea has been polished to an absolute, unblemished calm. The full moon hangs like a luminous pearl in the velvet black sky, its celestial light, a soft, shimmering silver path stretching across the tranquil surface, far, far above. Down below, in the intricate, sprawling city of coral, nestled deep within the ocean's embrace, something momentous is about to be released. It is not a loud, jarring sound that breaks the stillness. It is not a sudden, violent movement that disturbs the peace. It is instead a quiet, collective sigh, an almost imperceptible exhalation of life itself. On this one specific night, chosen by an ancient precise timing, guided by the celestial pull of the moon and the precise warmth of the tropical water, the vast coral colonies, stretching for miles in silent grandeur, prepare to let go of their future. All across the immense living tapestry of the reef, thousands upon thousands of tiny animals, the individual coral polyps, each one a living jewel, anchored to the communal stone, begin their synchronized act of profound release. They release tiny, buoyant bundles of eggs and sperm, countless microscopic packets of genetic potential, which drift upwards with an almost ethereal grace, like silent miniature golden brown balloons ascending towards the distant surface. It is a slow, upward dance, a ballet of biological imperative, a gentle, unhurried ascent towards the shimmering silver light of the moon, visible as a faint glow through the water's surface. The surface of the water far above appears as a ceiling of shimmering mercury, a liquid barrier between two worlds. Here, in the first few inches of the sea, where the light is strongest and the waters are warmest, the buoyant bundles, having completed their upward journey, gently break apart, releasing their vital contents into the vast, quiet expanse of the open water. And in this vast, quiet water, under the silent gaze of the moon, a spark of new life is made, An egg, tiny and receptive, and a sperm, driven by its singular purpose, meet in a silent cosmic embrace. It is a quiet, perfect joining. A single, perfect cell is formed, holding within its microscopic confines the complete, intricate blueprint for a future mountain range of solid limestone, a structure so immense it will one day be visible from space. Chapter 2: The First Foundation. The long, arduous journey is finally definitively coming to an end. The drifting spark, the tiny free-swimming planula, has been carried by the vast unseen currents for many days, and through countless nights, a testament to its silent endurance. It has traveled across immeasurable miles of open ocean, a solitary, resilient passenger on the slow-moving, powerful rivers of the deep sea. But now, after this epic meandering voyage, the unmistakable scent of its ancestral home, a chemical signature in the water, is growing undeniably stronger, more pervasive, more compelling. The profound, living sound of the healthy reef, that steady, vibrant hum in the water, is closer now, an audible beacon guiding its final approach. It is a symphony of life, a deep, resonant chorus that vibrates through the water, calling the planula to its destiny. The larva, now driven by this powerful intrinsic pull, begins its descent, drifting gracefully downward, away from the bright, shimmering surface and the diffuse light of the sun. It sinks slowly, gently, through the tall, shifting columns of cerulean blue light, each ray a pathway through the liquid world, until it finds itself in the dimmer, calmer depths of the reef structure. It is meticulously searching for the perfect place to settle, a site of absolute suitability, chosen with an innate wisdom honed over eons. This place is not merely a landing spot, it is the chosen locus to end its long journey, and crucially, to begin its life's monumental work. It cannot choose just anywhere, cannot settle arbitrarily. The choice it makes is profound and utterly final. Once it attaches itself to a surface, once it settles, it will be irrevocably rooted. It will never be able to move again, anchored for the entirety of its existence. It passes over vast, undulating landscapes of soft, shifting sand, grains like pale stardust on the ocean floor. This is not the place. The sand offers no stable foundation, no permanence. It drifts gently over vibrant gardens of swaying seagrass, their long emerald blades undulating gently in the current, teeming with their own forms of life. This too is not the place. The grass is too transient, too soft. It is meticulously looking for something hard, something solid and utterly permanent. Perhaps a submerged rock, ancient and vast, worn smooth by centuries of relentless water flow, its surface scoured clean and ready, or perhaps more profoundly, the bleached white, ghostly limestone skeleton of a long-dead ancestor, a foundational structure already laid by a life that came before, providing a sacred, enduring platform. Its selection process is intricate, driven by a complex interplay of environmental cues and inherited knowledge, using its ancient, finely tuned senses that have guided its lineage for millions of years. It explores the seafloor with deliberate purpose. It feels the subtle texture of the rock's surface, the microscopic roughness or smoothness with its sensitive cilia. It senses the precise way the remaining light falls, dappled and soft, filtered by the water and the overlying structures, assessing the optimal light conditions for its future internal garden. It feels the gentle push and pull of the water as it flows over the contours of the bottom, discerning the strength and consistency of the currents. And then, after this meticulous silent assessment, it finds the place. It is a small, unremarkable patch of bare stone, clean and perfectly solid, perhaps a fragment of old coral skeleton or a smooth piece of basalt. The light is precisely right, neither too dim nor too glaring. The current is gentle and consistent, not too strong to dislodge it, nor too still to prevent necessary water flow. Most crucially, the subtle chemical signature in the water, a complex molecular language, resonates with an ancient recognition, whispering, "This is safe, this is home, this is where you belong." Chapter 3: The Inner Garden. The tiny polyp is now exquisitely settled in its meticulously crafted limestone cup, a perfectly tailored sanctuary against the vastness of the sea. Its slender, delicate tentacles sway with a mesmerizing, gentle rhythm in the subtle currents, forming a soft, ethereal crown of petals in the dim, filtered blue light of the underwater world. If one could somehow look incredibly closely at the polyp, perhaps with the aid of a powerful microscopic lens, you would see that its body is almost perfectly clear, transparent, like a living piece of crystal. It is a simple, translucent creature, a soft ghost anchored securely to a steadfast piece of stone, its delicate tissues offering no inherent coloration. And yet the magnificent coral reefs of the world, stretching for thousands of miles across sunlit tropical seas, are renowned globally for their dazzling array of beautiful, vibrant hues. Their soft, shimmering golds, their rich, warm browns, their gentle, muted greens, and astonishing purples and blues. These brilliant colors do not, surprisingly, come from the polyp itself, which is largely colorless. They emanate from a profound secret held deeply within its very being, a hidden living treasure, a vibrant microscopic ecosystem. Indeed, inside the very cells of the polyp's clear gelatinous tissue lives a thriving self-contained garden. It is a microscopic garden, a universe of life contained within tiny walls, made of thousands, even millions of minute single-celled algae. These are known as zooxanthellae. They are tiny golden brown specks of life, photosynthetic powerhouses, living safely and symbiotically within the protective walls of the polyp's own body. They are a miniature meadow of captured sunlight, a private constellation of countless luminous stars, held securely inside the transparent animal, illuminating its very essence from within. This is not a chance encounter. This is a profound partnership, a silent, ancient agreement made millions of years ago, a testament to the power of cooperation in nature, a symbiosis. The polyp, an animal belonging to the kingdom of creatures, provides a safe, unparalleled home for the algae, a tiny plant belonging to the kingdom of flora. It offers complete shelter, protecting the delicate algae from the myriad dangers of the open ocean, from the relentless currents that could sweep them away, from the harsh UV radiation near the surface, and from the hungry mouths of plankton feeders. And in its daily life, the polyp breathes, performing its vital metabolic functions. It takes in dissolved oxygen from the surrounding seawater, and as a waste product of its respiration, releases carbon dioxide, just as we humans do with our own breath. This carbon dioxide, seemingly a waste product for the polyp, is in fact a vital essential ingredient for the thriving garden of algae within its tissues, the very air they breathe for their own life. The algae, in return for this safe haven and carbon dioxide, perform a quiet, astonishing miracle, an ancient biological feat. They are tiny masters of an ancient art, one of the most fundamental processes on Earth, photosynthesis. As the life-giving sunlight filters down through the clear, warm, tropical water, penetrating the surface and descending into the depths, it passes effortlessly through the polyp's transparent, crystal-like body and directly reaches the living garden nestled inside its cells. The tiny algae, sensitive and receptive, drink this light, absorbing its radiant energy. They then meticulously take the captured sunlight, combine it with the carbon dioxide graciously given by the polyp and the water that surrounds them, and through an extraordinary biochemical pathway, they turn it into life. More specifically, they create nourishment, simple sugars, rich in vital energy, the very fuel of life. This food, born directly from the sun's radiant embrace and the polyp's respiration, is not hoarded, it is generously shared. The algae, in their vibrant internal metabolism, create far more energy-rich food than they need for their own tiny existences. And with an innate generosity, they pass the surplus, this bountiful gift of life-giving energy, directly to the polyp that so hospitably houses them. As much as 90% of the food the algae create, a staggering proportion, is given, freely and continuously, to their host, the coral polyp. It is a silent, selfless, profoundly generous, and constant offering, a continuous flow of sustenance that underpins the entire ecosystem. Chapter 4: A Gentle Doubling. The single foundational polyp, now firmly settled in its meticulously crafted limestone home, its anchor to the vast, unchanging bedrock of the reef, is sustained by the omnipresent energy of the sun, converted by its internal garden, and warmed by the constant, gentle embrace of the tropical sea. It is safe, perfectly secure within its custom-built calyx, a tiny fortress of stone. And now, having achieved stability and sustenance, it begins to grow, not just in individual size, but more profoundly in numbers. It begins the slow, quiet, yet utterly miraculous process of making more of itself, of replicating its own perfect form. This particular method of increase is not the turbulent, drifting journey of a microscopic spark released into the open ocean, subject to the whims of currents and the vastness of the sea. This is a fundamentally different kind of creation, an intimate, controlled expansion, a direct, deliberate continuation of the self. This profound process is known as budding, a form of asexual reproduction unique in its elegant simplicity among these ancient creatures. It is a method of expansion that speaks to deep unity and self-replication. When the parent polyp has grown to a certain optimal size, having accumulated sufficient energy and mass, it instinctively prepares to divide. This is not a violent or abrupt split, not a sudden rupture of its tissues. Instead, it is a gentle, almost imperceptible lengthening of its body, a soft, organic folding of its own translucent tissue, a quiet preparation for new life. The polyp's soft, flexible body begins to stretch, slowly elongating its central column. The delicate circular ring of tentacles, once a perfect circle, elongates and distorts, becoming a subtle oval, hinting at the division to come. And then, slowly, with an almost magical internal force, the tissue in the very middle of its elongated body begins to pinch inward, like a slow, soft, deliberate breath being drawn. This inward constriction gradually deepens, forming a distinct constriction, a narrowing of its living form. As this pinching continues, a new wall of flesh, composed of the same translucent living tissue, begins to grow internally, extending across the constricting space, steadily dividing the existing polyp into two distinct yet connected sections. Simultaneously, within the newly forming section, a new mouth begins to form, a perfect replica of the original, a new portal to the outside world. Around this new mouth, a fresh, delicate circle of tentacles gradually unfurls, like the tender petals of a newly opened, miniature underwater bloom. And just like that, with an elegance that defies its biological complexity, where there was one living polyp, now there are two. The new polyp, newly formed and perfectly detailed, is an absolute, perfect, identical copy of the first. It is a genetic twin, a clone, born directly from the same living body, sharing its exact blueprint. It possesses its own fully formed mouth, its own crown of delicate tentacles, and its own distinct, perfectly hexagonal space within the growing, expanding limestone cup, a mirror image of its parent. But crucially, profoundly, they do not separate. This is the quiet wonder, the fundamental principle of the coral colony. The two polyps remain inextricably connected, sharing not just space but substance. A thin, continuous sheet of living tissue, a delicate but strong bridge of life, joins them together at their base. They are, in essence, two mouths, two individual consciousnesses, yet fundamentally, they are one interconnected body, one single, unified organism. This connection is not merely structural, it is profoundly functional. They share everything. The microscopic particles of food caught by the tentacles of one polyp can nourish not only that individual, but also flow through the connecting tissue to its neighbor, providing sustenance. The vital energy from the sun, captured so efficiently by the inner garden of zooxanthellae within one polyp, can flow seamlessly and generously through the connecting tissue to its adjacent neighbor, ensuring that the entire burgeoning colony thrives. To grow for these creatures is not to separate and become independent, but to become more profoundly unified, more deeply interconnected. The two polyps settle into their shared existence, a cooperative dance of life, and together, in perfect synchronicity, they continue the slow, painstaking work of building. They both secrete limestone, simultaneously expanding their shared home, making the communal walls thicker, stronger, and the overall cup wider, accommodating their growing numbers. And the pattern continues, an elegant, self-replicating design. The simple, peaceful, predictable rhythm of life and growth in the colony. Chapter 5. The Slow Sculptors. The colony grows, ceaselessly, driven by the relentless rhythm of budding and the tireless secretion of limestone. The gentle doubling continues its steady, inexorable progress, day after day, year after year, century after century. What began as a single, isolated polyp, a lonely pioneer on a bare rock, has now become a multitude, 1,000 polyps, then tens of thousands, eventually 1,000,000 polyps, then hundreds of millions, and finally billions of individual, yet interconnected lives. All are identical in their genetic makeup, all inextricably connected by a shared living sheet of tissue, all working together in perfect synchronicity, secreting their individual limestone skeletons, meticulously building upon the sturdy, enduring foundations laid by the generations that came before them. And as the colony expands, growing outwards and upwards in the vast silent sea, it begins to take on a definitive, recognizable shape. A distinct form emerges from the amorphous mass of individual polyps, guided by an unseen, inherited blueprint. Each species of coral carries within its very genetic code a quiet suggestion, a gentle, implicit blueprint for the kind of grand, living structure it will ultimately become. This blueprint, sculpted by eons of evolution and refined by the subtle pressures of the ocean, dictates its eventual majestic form. And so, across the sprawling ancient seafloor, under the filtering rays of the sun, a silent, living garden of monumental sculptures begins to slowly, patiently grow. These are the corals, the ocean's most deliberate and enduring artists. The slow sculptors are ceaselessly at work, their collective infinitesimal efforts culminating in structures that dwarf human creations. Some corals, driven by an innate reaching towards the light, grow primarily upwards. They form delicate, intricate branching structures, like elegant skeletal trees in a silent, otherworldly underwater forest. Their thin, finger-like branches extend outwards, creating an intricate lattice of hard white limestone, a complex and beautiful maze that provides shelter and hunting grounds. These are the fast-growing staghorn and elkhorn corals, their graceful antler-like forms, shaped perfectly for a life in the gentle sway and constant flow of the water, optimizing their surface area for light capture. They grow remarkably quickly for a coral, perhaps a few inches, even a foot, in a single year, a silent, patient race towards the life-giving sun, often forming the upper, most visible layers of a vibrant reef. Other corals, however, grow outwards, spreading broadly, and then in on themselves, forming massive, solid structures. They are the massive corals, the colossal boulder corals, the behemoths of the reef. They do not reach. Instead, they remain rooted, steadfast, and unyielding. They grow in solid, heavy, often hemispherical shapes, forming great sleeping domes that resemble ancient living stones, often hundreds or thousands of years old. Their growth is almost imperceptibly slow, a testament to their longevity and resilience, a mere few millimeters each year, a testament to unimaginable patience. The entire lifetime of a human might add less than an inch to their stony, enduring bulk. Some of these massive corals grow into intricate, convoluted patterns, their surfaces a maze of winding valleys and raised ridges. These are the brain corals, their iconic shape, a testament to immense patience, unwavering solidity, and the complex, beautiful fractal patterns of nature. They are living archives of deep time. Some corals, in contrast, grow in wide, flat plains, spreading horizontally across the seafloor. They are the table corals, extending their broad horizontal plates like immense open hands, gracefully catching the gentle falling sunlight that filters down through the water, maximizing light absorption for their internal gardens. Others grow in thin, delicate layers, almost ethereal in their appearance, like the fragile petals of a giant underwater flower or the crisp, layered leaves of an otherworldly lettuce. These are the foliose corals, their form a perfect design for efficiently gathering the gentle diffused light in deeper, calmer waters, where direct sunlight is less intense but still vital. These incredibly beautiful and remarkably diverse shapes are not created by chance, nor by conscious aesthetic design. They are, in their very essence, a profound conversation between the living coral and the surrounding ocean, a continuous dynamic dialogue spanning millennia. The specific form of the coral is a direct, ingenious response to the complex, ever-present forces and conditions of the world around it. It is a physical map, rendered in stone, of the invisible forces of the sea, a silent chronicle of its environment. Chapter 6: A City of Life. The slow, unwavering work of the sculptors, stretching across countless millennia, has not merely created a geological formation, it has forged a masterpiece of biological and structural engineering. What began as a single, solitary limestone cup, painstakingly built by one tiny polyp, is now a vast, sprawling, and incredibly complex landscape. It is a living, breathing city of intertwined stone and vibrant life, a testament to the power of accretion. The intricate branches of the staghorn corals, reaching like skeletal trees towards the sun, the solid, immovable domes of the boulder corals, anchoring the structure against the ocean's might, the wide, horizontal plates of the table corals, catching every available photon, and the dark, hidden crevices, tunnels, and labyrinthine caves woven throughout its structure. All these diverse forms have collectively created a world of infinite possibility. It is a vibrant haven, a bustling sanctuary, teeming with a diversity of life that rivals any rainforest on land. And where there is shelter, where there is abundant food and protection, life will inevitably gather, drawn by the promise of safety and sustenance. The coral, in the seemingly simple, quiet act of building a home for itself, for its own perpetuation and growth, has inadvertently built a magnificent, complex home for thousands upon thousands of other creatures. From the microscopic to the majestic, the Creator has, through its very existence, become the profound protector, and the reef is now a bustling, vibrant, yet remarkably peaceful metropolis, a kaleidoscope of life and activity. Listen closely. Can you truly hear the profound sound of this underwater city? It is not a loud or hurried sound, not the clamor of human cities. Instead, it is the gentle, living soundscape of a healthy, thriving place, a symphony of organic noises. That soft, pervasive crackling sound, like quiet static or a bowl of rice cereal and milk, is the unmistakable sound of countless tiny snapping shrimp hidden deep within the reef's intricate crevices and fissures, their powerful claws creating miniature sonic booms. That low, soft, resonant grunt, barely audible, is the sound of a fish communicating with others of its kind in the dim, mysterious dark of a coral cave. This gentle, complex, continuous hum is the very sound of life itself, a vast interwoven chorus that speaks to the vitality of the ecosystem. A healthy reef is always alive with this subtle, peaceful symphony of quiet noises. A silent reef, eerily devoid of these characteristic sounds, is a reef that is unwell, stressed, or dying. Health in this underwater world has a specific sound, and it is this peaceful living chorus, a testament to its vibrant well-being. Let's meet some of the city's calmest, most deliberate residents, those who embody the slow rhythm of the reef. There is no hurry here, no frantic rush. There is only slow, deliberate, purposeful movement, a pace dictated by the gentle flow of the water and the ancient wisdom of the sea. Gliding along the sandy bottom, between the towering coral mounds and the branching forests, is the humble sea cucumber, a soft-bodied, elongated, slow-moving creature. It patiently, continuously cleans the sea floor, acting as the reef's quiet, diligent janitor. It ingests vast quantities of sand and organic detritus, filtering out the tiny particles of food and nutrients, and then excretes clean, processed sand. It is a vital recycler of nutrients, constantly keeping the city clean and in ecological balance, a silent, essential contributor to the reef's health. Resting majestically on the pure white sand, or sometimes nestled securely among the protective coral branches, you might quietly observe a giant clam. Its two immense heavy shells, deeply ridged and often encrusted with smaller organisms, are held wide open, revealing a mantle of astonishing iridescent blue, vibrant green, deep purple, or intricate patterns of gold. It is an ancient living jewel, a sedentary marvel of the bivalve world. It does not move for years, often for decades, sometimes even for centuries. It simply rests, its soft, vulnerable body safely enclosed within its colossal, hard, protective shell. And as it rests, it performs its vital function, breathing the water through its siphons, filtering it with immense efficiency, removing phytoplankton and other suspended particles, continuously making the surrounding sea clean and crystal clear for all the other residents, contributing to the clarity essential for coral growth. In a quiet cavern, sheltered by the wide protective expanse of a great plate of table coral, an ancient mariner is resting, having journeyed far. A magnificent green sea turtle, its beautiful, intricately patterned shell, a mosaic of greens, browns, and yellows, blends almost perfectly with the dappled light and shadow of the reef, providing natural camouflage. It has traveled thousands of miles across the vast open ocean, guided by an invisible innate compass within its ancient brain, driven by an instinct to return. But here, in the sheltering, protective arms of the reef, it finds a crucial place to rest safely, secure from predators and strong currents, a vital waypoint on its epic journey. Later, refreshed and energized, it will glide peacefully towards the nearby meadows of seagrass, grazing contentedly on the abundant green blades. The reef is its safe harbor, its sanctuary, a vital part of its migratory path. Chapter 7: The Reef of Time. Let us now expand our perspective, pulling our focus back from the single industrious polyp and the bustling, vibrant city it has created. Let us zoom out, mentally distancing ourselves, and truly see the reef from a vastly different vantage point, a distance of ages, a sweep of geological time. The reef, in this expanded view, is not merely a transient community of living animals, however diverse and complex. It is, in its profound essence, a geological feature of immense scale and permanence. It is a biological construction so vast, so enduring, so intrinsic to the planet's very structure, that it becomes an inseparable part of the Earth itself, a living, growing mountain range in the sea. It is indeed a mountain range, but one built not by the slow, grinding collision of tectonic plates or the fiery eruptions of volcanoes. Instead, it is formed by the continuous, slow, patient, and relentless exhalations of trillions upon trillions of tiny, soft-bodied animals, the individual coral polyps, each secreting its minute contribution of limestone, building upward and outward over unimaginable spans of time. It is a living monument, a testament to the astonishing cumulative power of small, persistent, collective effort, an architectural feat unparalleled in the natural world. This magnificent structure exists and grows in a fundamentally different kind of time than our hurried human existence. It exists in deep time, geological time, a scale that utterly dwarfs the fleeting span of human lives, or even civilizations. The oldest ancestors of these modern corals first appeared more than 500 million years ago in the ancient primordial seas of the Cambrian period, predating the dinosaurs by hundreds of millions of years. The great vibrant reefs we see today, teeming with life and complexity, began to grow after the last major ice age, when sea levels stabilized and conditions became favorable, taking thousands of years to slowly accrete and reach their current immense size. The Great Barrier Reef, for instance, arguably the largest living structure on Earth as it exists now, is a dynamic work in progress, a continuous creation that has been some 20,000 years in the making and continues to expand and evolve. It is a timescale that utterly dwarfs our own understanding of duration, extending back into the mists of unimaginable antiquity. If you could somehow take a perfectly precise slice of a great ancient boulder coral, perhaps one that has stood for centuries, you would discover that its very structure holds the profound, indelible story of its entire life within it. Much like the distinct concentric rings of a magnificent ancient tree, the coral skeleton possesses annual growth bands, laid down year after year. Each distinct band marks the precise passing of a year, a full cycle of seasons, warmer periods and cooler periods, seasons of intense storms, and seasons of profound calm. These growth rings are a quiet, permanent record of ancient times, an archive written in stone. They tell of past climates, of shifts in ocean chemistry, of major environmental events, all patiently recorded by the living organism. The reef is, in essence, a living library of time, its vast, complex stories inscribed in the enduring medium of limestone, accessible to those who know how to read its silent language. More astonishingly, the reef is a planetary clock, a biological chronometer of immense precision. Scientists, delving into the deep past, have meticulously examined fossil corals from the Devonian period, a staggering 400 million years ago. By painstakingly counting the tiny, almost imperceptible daily growth ridges within the larger, more visible annual bands, they made an astounding discovery. A year in the Devonian period had approximately 400 days, not 365. This profound revelation indicated that the Earth was spinning significantly faster then, resulting in shorter days. The coral, In its quiet, passive, yet profoundly accurate existence, recorded this fundamental astronomical fact, a testament to its precise biological processes. It is a humble, yet profound keeper of the planet's oldest, most fundamental secrets, a living record of celestial mechanics. Every single living polyp on the surface of the reef today, each individual flower-like animal, is not starting anew on bare stone. It is instead building upon a profound foundation of ghosts, the skeletal remains of countless previous generations. The reef, in its truest sense, is a city built directly on top of its own history, a continuous vertical accretion of life over death. The immense mass of limestone beneath the thin, living, vibrant layer of polyps is the enduring calcified skeletal remains of countless generations that came before, providing the very bedrock for the current living surface. Each individual polyp, though small and seemingly insignificant in its brevity, contributes its own small finite life, its own small perfectly formed cup of stone, to a continuous, ancient, and majestic project that began long, long before it was born, and which will continue long after it is gone. The individual polyp, in its soft, living form, has a relatively short lifespan, perhaps a few years to a few decades, depending on the species. But in contributing its hard, enduring skeleton to the vast communal whole, it achieves a kind of immortality. Its life's work, its patiently secreted calcium carbonate, becomes a permanent, integral part of a structure that will endure for eons, for geological timescales. Its small, brief existence finds profound meaning and lasting impact by becoming an indispensable part of something vastly, enduringly greater, something that will provide a literal and metaphorical foundation for countless future generations of life, both coral and otherwise. It is a legacy of stone built with life. Chapter 8: The Reef's Resilience. Even in a world of such profound peace and ancient rhythms, untouched by human haste, perfect systems are not immune to challenge. The vast, nurturing sea, though often calm and benevolent, is not always so. Beneath the shimmering, placid surface, unseen forces can gather, and life, even in its most enduring forms, must possess an innate capacity for resilience, an unyielding will to persist through adversity. The coral reef, a structure built on millennia of patient growth, is no stranger to disruption. It has faced cataclysms and transformations for eons, and its very existence is a testament to its profound ability to endure. One of the most dramatic natural challenges the reef faces comes from the fury of the heavens and the ocean itself, the relentless power of tropical storms, hurricanes, and cyclones. These colossal meteorological events unleash unimaginable violence upon the shallow, sunlit waters where corals thrive. The serene, gentle currents transform into raging torrents, churning and tearing at the delicate, intricate structures. The immense force of the waves, like giant hammers, pounds against the calcified architecture, causing widespread physical damage. Delicate, branching coral structures, like the staghorn and elkhorn, are snapped and shattered, their intricate forms splintering into countless pieces. Massive, ancient boulder corals, though seemingly unmovable, can be overturned or even dislodged from their deep-seated foundations, rolled across the seafloor like immense ancient dice. The immediate aftermath of such a storm is a scene of utter devastation, a once vibrant, colorful cityscape reduced to rubble, a testament to nature's raw, untamed power. Yet, even in the face of such profound immediate destruction, the reef possesses an astonishing, inherent capacity for recovery. This is where its slow, patient nature becomes its greatest strength. Polyps, though seemingly fragile, cling on with an tenacious grip. Fragments of broken coral, carried by the currents, can often resettle in new locations, provided the conditions are right and begin to grow anew, acting as vital seeds for regeneration. New planulae, released in subsequent spawning events, drift down and settle on the newly exposed, scoured surfaces, beginning the cycle of construction anew. It is a slow, patient resculpting, a painstaking reknitting of the biological and geological fabric. The reef, in its essence, is a living system designed for self-repair and continuous renewal. It demonstrates an innate ability to heal, to slowly mend its wounds, to regrow and reform, patiently reclaiming its lost territory, rebuilding its shattered architecture, one microscopic layer of limestone at a time. The devastation of a single storm, no matter how powerful, is merely a chapter in its geological epic, not the final word. Beyond the immediate physical violence of storms, the reef also faces more subtle, yet equally devastating threats. One of the most insidious is the stress induced by rising ocean temperatures, a phenomenon that has become increasingly prevalent in recent decades. When the water becomes too warm for too long, the delicate vital partnership between the coral polyp and its internal garden of zooxanthellae is severely disrupted. The zooxanthellae, exquisitely sensitive to temperature fluctuations, begin to produce harmful toxins instead of beneficial sugars. In a desperate act of self-preservation, the coral polyp expels its algal partners, ejecting them from its tissues. This expulsion, known as coral bleaching, causes the vibrant, living colors of the coral to drain away, leaving the skeleton stark white, a ghostly spectral appearance under the blue water. The coral, though still technically alive, is starving, having lost its primary food source, its internal solar panels. It becomes a skeletal shadow of its former self, a stark, haunting reminder of environmental stress. Yet, even from this bleached, ghost-like state, there is a fragile glimmer of hope, a potential for recovery. If the ocean temperatures return to normal relatively quickly, if the period of heat stress is not too prolonged, the coral polyps can, over time, reacquire new zooxanthellae from the water column. The vibrant colors slowly, tentatively return, a gradual blush spreading across the once white skeleton, signaling the renewal of the vital partnership. This slow return of the algae, this re-establishment of the inner garden, is a testament to the reef's profound yet delicate resilience. However, this capacity for recovery has its limits. Prolonged or repeated bleaching events can overwhelm the coral's ability to bounce back, leading to widespread mortality. The fragility of this recovery highlights the delicate balance upon which the reef thrives. The reef also faces natural predation, a constant part of its intricate ecosystem. One notable natural predator is the crown-of-thorns starfish, a large spiny echinoderm that feeds on coral polyps, leaving trails of dead white skeleton in its wake. In healthy ecosystems, the populations of these starfish are kept in check by their own predators, like the giant triton snail, maintaining a delicate balance. The reef, in its ancient wisdom, has evolved its own natural defenses and mechanisms to cope with these pressures, maintaining a dynamic equilibrium. Conclusion: the deep, quiet embrace. As the night deepens further, descending from the gentle, fading twilight into the profound, inky blackness, a comprehensive and profound calm settles over the entire world, a pervasive silence so utterly complete it seems to absorb every conceivable sound, every lingering echo of the day's activity, every distant murmur. The moon, a luminous, serene orb of pearlescent light, now rides majestically high above in the vast star-strewn heavens, casting its soft, unwavering, almost liquid gaze upon the slumbering earth below, an omnipresent, benevolent watch. Its silvery light, ethereal and gentle, weaves intricate patterns of light and shadow through the dense, trembling leaves of the unseen trees above, creating delicate, dancing arabesques that gently sway and shift with the almost imperceptible breath of the breeze, a silent, hypnotic ballet of light and dark. The air, exquisitely cool and invigoratingly fresh, carries only the faintest, most comforting and soothing sense, the deep, cloying, sweet perfume of unseen night-blooming flowers, unfurling their petals in the cool dark, the dry, whisper-soft aroma of ancient weathered wood, a scent of timeless endurance, and the subtle, uniquely earthy, almost papery scent of the constructed coral reef itself, a fragrance of ancient home and enduring industry. Within the intricate, meticulously paper-spun city of coral, a delicate marvel of natural engineering, the once constant, industrious hum of activity that vibrated through the daylight hours, begins its slow, gradual softening, gradually fading into a deep, pervasive quietude. The tireless mandibles of the coral polyps, those tiny, perfectly formed tools of creation which chewed and sculpted with such unwavering purpose throughout the sunlit hours, now finally rest, released from their arduous, continuous labor. The delicate, agile legs which gripped tenaciously to the substrate and spread the wet pulp with such exquisite precision are now utterly still, their movements ceased, their tiny muscles relaxed after their long demanding work. The myriad translucent wings of other reef inhabitants, which beat with such vibrant, ceaseless energy, creating that characteristic hum of an active ecosystem, are folded quietly and neatly against their slumbering bodies, a posture of absolute repose and peaceful surrender to the night's embrace. The day's monumental, collective work is comprehensively done, accomplished with unwavering dedication, for now awaiting the dawn. A profound and quiet contentment settles over the entire colony, a collective sigh of deep, weary accomplishment that resonates through the delicate, porous limestone walls of the coral. The powerful shared purpose that drove each individual polyp and every myriad creature through the relentless demands of the day, uniting their efforts in a singular focused drive, now gently gives way to a shared pervasive peace that blankets the entire community. The queen polyp, the first architect, the indomitable, unwavering mother whose vision initiated this intricate structure, settles deeply within her own private, custom-built chamber, her sensitive antennae, finally still, no longer twitching with vigilance, her entire body profoundly at rest, finding blessed respite after her immense and continuous efforts. Her countless children, the new polyps, still fresh from their own transformations and growth, follow her silent lead, their tiny forms tucked securely and comfortably into the familiar, protective contours of their shared paper stone home, finding warmth, safety, and comfort in their intimate proximity. The faint, almost imperceptible vibrations that still ripple through the vast, living reef structure are now less about the purposeful motions of construction and more about the gentle, synchronized, collective breathing of many small, contented lives, nestled together in a profound communal slumber, a silent shared dream. Chapter 9: The Human Shadow. As we gaze upon this magnificent ancient tapestry of life and stone, this testament to enduring patience and profound natural engineering, a new distinct factor emerges from the backdrop of millennia of natural cycles. This factor, unlike the forces of storms or the subtle shifts in ancient planetary rhythms, is a presence of a fundamentally different kind, the human shadow. Our own species, with its rapid advancements, its insatiable needs, and its far-reaching global impact, now casts an increasingly long and unsettling shadow over the very existence of these slow, patient sculptors and the vibrant cities they build. The reef, in its eons of existence, has adapted to natural challenges, but it struggles to adapt to the accelerating, unprecedented pace and scale of human influence. One of the most insidious and pervasive threats we introduce is pollution, a constant, insidious assault on the pristine clarity and delicate chemistry of the ocean. Runoff from land, whether it be agricultural fertilizers rich in nitrates and phosphates, industrial chemicals discharged into rivers, or untreated sewage, all eventually finds its way into the marine environment, clouding the waters that must remain clear for the coral to thrive. This influx of nutrients, while seemingly beneficial, can trigger explosive growth of competing algae, which can smother the slow-growing corals, blocking their vital access to light and consuming the oxygen they need. Moreover, the increased turbidity of the water, caused by sediment and suspended particles, directly reduces the amount of sunlight that can penetrate to the coral's internal gardens, stressing the zooxanthellae and weakening the polyps. It is a slow, suffocating embrace, a gradual dimming of the very light that sustains the reef. Beyond direct pollution, the overarching existential threat to coral reefs globally stems from our collective impact on the planet's climate change. This manifests in two primary ways for the coral. Firstly, rising ocean temperatures, a direct consequence of global warming, push the delicate corals beyond their thermal limits, leading to more frequent and more severe coral bleaching events, which we have already witnessed devastatingly across the world's reefs. These events, once rare, are now becoming dangerously common, overwhelming the coral's natural capacity for recovery. Secondly, the increasing absorption of atmospheric carbon dioxide by the oceans leads to ocean acidification. As more CO2 dissolves in seawater, it forms carbonic acid, which reduces the availability of carbonate ions, the very building blocks that corals need to secrete their limestone skeletons. It is a direct systemic attack on the reef's fundamental ability to grow and repair itself. The corals literally find it harder to breathe and harder to build, their monumental work hindered by the very chemistry of the water. Destructive fishing practices and overfishing also leave deep scarring marks on the reef. Techniques like dynamite fishing or cyanide fishing utterly obliterate vast sections of coral, leaving behind barren rubble, a graveyard of shattered stone. Even less destructive, but widespread, overfishing of herbivorous fish like parrotfish or surgeonfish removes the reef's natural grazers, allowing algae to overgrow and smother the corals, disrupting the delicate balance of the ecosystem. The removal of key species from the intricate food web can lead to cascading effects, unraveling the stability of the entire reef community. Our hunger for seafood, when unchecked, directly undermines the very structure that sustains marine life. The most profound disconnect lies in the vast chasm between human hurriedness and the reef's deep ancient time. Our societies operate on cycles of days, weeks, years, a frantic, accelerated pace driven by instant gratification and short-term economic gains. The reef, however, operates on millennia, its processes unfolding over geological epochs. Our short-term thinking, our immediate demands, clash violently with the reef's slow, patient, incremental growth. We demand change and results on a human timeline, while the reef builds and adapts on a timescale that we can barely comprehend. This fundamental temporal mismatch means our impacts are swift and overwhelming, while the reef's capacity to respond is inherently, tragically slow. Yet, despite the immense weight of our shadow, there is an undeniable truth. The reef is not separate from us. Its health is inextricably linked to our own well-being, to the health of the entire planet. It is a vital, irreplaceable part of the global system, a massive carbon sink, a protector of coastlines, a source of unparalleled biodiversity, and a wellspring of potential scientific discovery. Its silent suffering is a quiet plea, a desperate warning. Our collective responsibility to this ancient living wonder is immense. Its resilience, though profound, is not infinite. Its beauty, though enduring, is not guaranteed. We are invited, in this profound quiet, to listen to the reef's silent symphony, to understand its deep time, and to recognize that our hurried shadow, though vast, can also be a source of protection and healing, if only we choose to align our pace with its ancient rhythm, to honor its slow, enduring dream. The choice ultimately rests with us, in the quiet spaces between our hurried breaths. The Queen Polyp, the first architect, the indomitable, unwavering mother whose initial vision and tireless efforts initiated this intricate structure, settles deeply within her own private, custom built chamber, sinking into the soft contours of her calyx. Her sensitive antennae are finally still, no longer twitching with vigilance, no longer probing the water for threats or opportunities, her entire body profoundly at rest, finding blessed respite after her immense and continuous efforts, her long day of silent creation. Her countless children, the new polyps who have joined the growing city, still fresh from their own transformations and recent growth, follow her silent lead, their tiny forms tucked securely and comfortably into the familiar, protective contours of their shared paper stone home, finding warmth, safety, and a comforting sense of belonging in their intimate proximity. The faint, almost imperceptible vibrations that still ripple through the vast living reef structure are now less about the purposeful motions of construction and more about the gentle, synchronized, collective breathing of many small, contented lives, nestled together in a profound communal slumber, a silent shared dream that weaves through the very fabric of the reef. The night stretches out, boundless and serene, a vast, soft, enveloping blanket of profound darkness, drawing itself completely and securely, with an almost sacred tenderness, around the entirety of the magnificent, sprawling reef. It cradles all its precious, vulnerable inhabitants, from the smallest, newly settled planulae clinging to a solitary rock, to the most ancient, towering coral heads that have stood for millennia in a secure, tender, and protective embrace, shielding them from the world's waking concerns, from the unseen anxieties of daylight. The stars, countless beyond human enumeration, shimmering like diamond dust, liberally sprinkled across the boundless velvet firmament, are impossibly distant, yet they twinkle with a sleepy, muted glow, their ancient light a faint, reassuring pulse from across unimaginable cosmic gulfs. They appear as benevolent, silent guardians of the quiet hours, celestial sentinels patiently watching over the world below, observing with an ancient, timeless patience that utterly transcends human comprehension or measurement. The gentle breeze, now a mere ethereal whisper, almost a soft sigh of the slumbering planet itself, barely stirring the air, rustles through the surrounding leaves of the unseen trees like a timeless, comforting lullaby, a soft, murmuring song that subtly, irresistibly guides all living things, from the smallest, most ephemeral insect to the largest, most majestic mammal, into a deeper, more restorative slumber, a gentle, effortless descent into profound, peaceful oblivion. There is truly nothing left to do, no task unfinished, no lingering obligation, no burden to carry into the stillness. There is nothing left to worry about, no looming threat to ponder in the encompassing darkness, only the profound, encompassing peace of absolute, unburdened rest. The little paper stone city, intricately crafted and suspended securely from its slender pedestal, rocks ever so slightly, imperceptibly, with the world's quiet breath, a perfect safe cradle in the vast stillness of the world, held gently by the ocean's soft rhythmic sway. Each tiny life within its delicate walls, from the newly laid eggs silently gestating with future promise, to the pupae dreaming their deepest, most secret dreams of becoming, to the adult polyps resting from their patient toil of accretion, drifts peacefully into quiet, undisturbed slumber, perfectly protected and profoundly at peace, enveloped in the reef's calm. This profound rest will endure until the sun, in its own gentle, immutable, and unwavering rhythm, calls them forth once more, awakening them to a new day of purpose, growth, and creation. For now, only the soft, deep, pervasive hum of nature's quiet repose remains, a universal, ancient invitation to simply be, to release all tension from mind and body, to truly rest, to deeply, profoundly, and completely sleep, held by the gentle, endless rhythm of the sea, a lullaby of timeless tranquility.